NFL Plus is the league's new exclusive video streaming subscription service. NFL Plus has your game day covered with live, local, and primetime regular season and postseason games right on your phone or tablet. NFL Plus is available in the NFL app and at NFL.com. Subscription plans start at just $4.99 a month. Fans can visit plus.nfl.com and sign up for a free trial of NFL Plus today. All right, guys, it's time for the Elite Eight. We do this each and every week. We're looking at the 8 storylines to come out of Week 5. And I'll start us off here with the first one, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this sounds weird to say. I think they might have the first pick in the draft next year. That's what this team looks like when you watch them right now. They are, especially without TJ Watt, not a good ball club. The Buffalo Bills ran them out of the gym. So for Steeler fans, instead of going through that game, which would probably be pretty depressing, let's look towards the future a little bit of what can be. Kenny Pickett, it's going to be tough this year with the offensive line they have in front of him. They can solve that a little bit in free agency next year. But can you imagine next year you line up a healthy TJ Watt on one side, and with the first or second pick, wherever you're picking up there high, you could somehow come away with Alabama's Will Anderson, who's one of the best edge rushers we've seen in a very long time coming out of the college game. Now this starts to feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers again. Now you're going to see those TJ Watt jerseys next to the Will Anderson jerseys in the stands. You're going to have Minka Fitzpatrick in the back end to clean it all up after they create all that chaos. I don't know, Buck. I mean, I know you'd be disappointed as a Steeler fan. Mike Tomlin doesn't know what it's like to have a losing season, but that would be a nice reward for having the worst year they've had in a very long time.
Yeah, now if they're able to get Will Anderson, you're right. It brings them all the way back to being able to play the style of defense that they want. They have the quarterback in place in Kenny Pickett. You now get another edge rush to go with TJ Watt. You're able to dominate like you want. But let's go on the other side, because in that game, I saw the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills are a big play machine, meaning when you look at them play, they are throwing the ball all over the yard, and they're producing chunk plays. In this game alone, they had 8 explosive plays. We started from the third play of the game. Gabe Davis, throw it over the top, big play. Gabe Davis again, over the top. Stephon Diggs had a 40-yard game. Josh Allen was doing whatever he wanted to do against the Steelers defense, and it's because this team is prolific, they're explosive. And DJ, when you look at the point differential between the Buffalo Bills and their opponents, they are plus 91. So when you think about winning and winning big in the postseason, when you can put points on the board, you're going to win a lot of games. The Buffalo Bills are in the mix as a Super Bowl contender because they are a prolific offensive attack.
Yeah, and Brian Daboll, who used to run that offense, is now sitting in New York and sitting pretty at 4-1, trailing only the Philadelphia Eagles atop that division there. And so the NFC East is, by the way, shaping up to be a pretty intriguing division this year. But look, I think Brian Daboll deserves a lot of credit. Joe Shane as well, coming over from the Bills to help reshape the Giants franchise. And I feel like the work that Brian Daboll has done, especially considering how limited they've been in the wide receiver room this year, from the tight end group this year, obviously getting Saquon going is probably the crowning achievement of this of Brian Daboll tenure early. I mean, he's the front runner for Coach of the Year in my mind, with the way that he's gotten the most out of Saquon, the most out of that offensive line. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the show, talking about that Giants-Packers game, the most out of Daniel Jones in a pivotal year for him as a quarterback in this league and as a potential cornerstone for this franchise moving forward. Daboll is pressing all the right buttons. And then obviously hiring Wink Martindale to run the defense, obviously a big part of that as well. And as a first-time head coach, man, he is absolutely winning and has the Giants off to their best start in like a decade. So I think a lot of credit, hats off to what Brian Daboll's doing, guys.
Yeah, I mean, like they've done a really good job taking this roster and taking it to the next level. I think since we're talking about the NFC East, DJ, you go up because you got some thoughts on the NFC East.
Yeah, I'll keep it there. I'm going to go Cowboys-Eagles collision course. It's coming up Monday night. I believe Monday Night Football. Is it Monday night or Sunday night? It's prime time. It's coming up this next week.
Sunday
We're
night.
Get the Eagles
Sunday
and
night.
the Cowboys.
Sunday night.
Sunday night. There you go. Sunday night, we're going to get a big-time matchup here. And to me, there's so many ways and layers to this game. But you look at the way they're both running the football right now. You look at the physicality that they're playing with up front on the defensive side of the ball. Micah Parsons might be the defensive player of the year, but he's going to get a chance to go up against the best offensive line in football in the Philadelphia Eagles. This is all of a sudden the best division of football. We talked all offseason about the AFC West, the AFC West, the AFC West, and boy, the TV executives have got to be happy because it's actually the NFC East. All the teams that pull in the big ratings, it's the best division in football right now, and that is going to be a massive collision course. I know we're a football podcast, we're not a ratings podcast, Buck, but I guarantee you the numbers for that game on Sunday night are going to be otherworldly in terms of the viewers tuning in for that one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you talk about two marquee franchises, two teams that are playing great. You have the Cowboys who've kind of owned the division of late, particularly when Dak Prescott has played. But now you got the new gun in Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. But you talk about the NFC East and the way they play football. Well, it kind of reminds me of the way the Tennessee Titans play. Physical, big boy football. And in their game against the Washington Commanders on Sunday, man, the Tennessee Titans showed championship level grit. Meaning it wasn't pretty for them. They had a tough time controlling Carson Wentz and the Commanders' passing game. But at the end of the day, when they needed to make a play, they made a play. David Long Jr. stepping in front, picking off a pass, sealing the deal with 6 seconds left. This is the kind of play that the Tennessee Titans must have to win the division because let's be honest, the AFC South, the division is all up in flux. And so the way that the Titans have to win it, they got to bully everybody. They got to beat everybody up on both sides of the ball. We saw that with King Henry. We saw that with the defense. If they continue to play like this, they're going to have a chance. They're going to have a chance to do it all over again, go to the playoffs and make some noise.
Yeah, look, I think you never count out, right, a Mike Vrabel coach team. Just with their brand of football is always going to allow them the opportunity to find their groove, to get things back going in the right direction because they can out physical teams on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to move to another team who did it maybe a little bit more physically than we're used to seeing, in the Tampa Bay Bucks here, Buck. In a win over the Falcons. I mean, it's like we talked, you remember when Leonard Fournette joined the Bucks, it was like, all right, it's playoff Lenny, it's Lombardi Lenny, like we were coming up with all the different names. Well, week 5 Lenny showed up in a big way for the Tampa Bay Bucks in this game. I mean, Todd Bowles came out in his news conference, was talking about it. They don't win that game without Leonard Fournette, who had 24 touches, 139 yards from scrimmage. He had 41% of their touches and 33% of their yards from scrimmage in this game, which doubles his usual output in both of those categories if you go all the way back to last year. But if you study a little bit more closely, they've been steadily using Fournette more and more this season because they've had to. I think you look at the lack of continuity along the offensive line, the injuries that they've dealt with up there, the fact that some guys are just no longer there. And you got to go back to something that can kind of give you a little bit of consistency, and that's been the ground game. That's been using Lenny in the pass game. Was a big part of the Bucs' effort here from Tom Brady in this win over the Falcons. And I know people are up in arms about the Grady Jarrett roughing the passer and how that should have given the Falcons another chance to go down and win the game. It was a bad call. It was a call that did not get the explanation from Jerome Boger. But I think the explanation behind what the Bucs are doing on offense is kind of similar to what we've been talking about with the Packers and the way that when they're running the football better this year might give them a better shot to move forward in the playoffs more than they have. I think this is something that could help the Bucs down the stretch in the postseason as well if they need to rely on that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think we've kind of seen what the formula looks like once you get to the postseason. I think these teams are trying to get themselves in that type of mode here. You got to make the tournament first, though. So you got to do what you got to do to get there, and then things can change a little bit in the postseason. Let's go to Brady's former team. Just talked about his current team with the Bucs. Let's go to the Patriots in a dominant defensive performance, pitching a shutout against one of the best offenses in the NFL this year. I don't know if we all saw it coming, but that's what the Lions have been. This defense, guys, to me, watching their rush plan, I don't know that he saw the same thing twice in terms of 4, 5, 6-man pressures, running different stunts, picking guys with their inside linebacker, Bentley, who's a monster. He is enormous, and he just ran right through their backs. They were able to get him schemed up on backs, and he just would run right over them. Matt Judon is tied for the league lead in sacks. He picked up 2 more in this game. He was all over the place. And Jared Goff, once that started happening early in the game, and there was so much color flashing in front of him with the stuff they were doing, he was done. He was out of sorts. He could not find a rhythm. Even when he did get a cleanish pocket, he was looking to get the ball out or get out of there. So they made him very uncomfortable, kind of a vintage Patriots defense in that performance there, just confusing people and really dominating that game against a Lions team that had been pretty explosive, Rhett.
Nothing on my man Bailey Zappi? Come on, in his first start as a rookie 4th-round
I figured
pick?
you were going there later. Are you going to hit Zappi later?
I'm not, but, I figured Like let's give some credit to another guy here who's making an impact in his first start as a rookie. But yeah, it was about the defense. They were dominant in this game. They put
I
Zappe
thought
in the
that
offensive
you were
favorable.
contractually obligated for anybody that graduated from QB country that Rhett was the only one that's allowed to talk about them on the Move the Sticks podcast.
Unless it's blatantly obvious how they were trained in a way that allowed him an opportunity to go out and succeed in his first start. But no, I thought, again, defense, run game certainly aided Zappe in this first start. The fans at Foxborough were chanting Zappe after they were leaving the game. So as it was over, pretty good deal, pretty cool experience for Zappe in his first game. I'll move on here to one that was about on the opposite end of the spectrum for the Los Angeles Rams, who felt like they were dominated from the jump in this game, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. When you look at what the Cowboys did from the jump, Dorrance Armstrong on the Rams' first offensive possession gets free, strip, sack, recovered, returned for a touchdown by DeMarcus Lawrence. And you're like, oh boy, this is going to be a long day. Now, look, I know that the Cowboys have done this to just about every team that they have played this year in terms of providing pressure and getting in the face of the quarterback and causing those mistakes. But for the Rams, it's not just about this game with the Cowboys. They have allowed a pressure percentage of 36. So more than 1 in every 3 dropbacks for Matthew Stafford, he is seeing pressure in his face. It's the 4th highest in the NFL. And then you go back to what they were a year ago when they were so successful on the offensive side of the ball. Just 22% of those pass attempts generated pressure on the quarterback, which was the 5th lowest in the league. So obviously Whitworth is gone. They've had some parts they've had to change around in the interior of the offensive line. Right now it's not working. So the one thing I can say for sure is that I trust Sean McVay and the offensive staff in LA to figure this thing out one way or another. But just right now, it's not working. The formula that they have with the guys up front, it's unsustainable. Let's see if they can figure it out and get themselves back in contention here.
Yeah, honestly, I was just thinking about I don't even know who owns their first-round pick next year. I know they don't have first-round picks for the next 20
It's hard
years,
to keep
but I
track
don't even know
of
where they're located. I got to go back through and look that up and find out where those are. Speaking of rookies, guys, we're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some standout rookies and also going to hit our favorite performances from Week 5.